Hello, once again. Tiri sei kuma tiri manyanyika atiri. Welcome to Mbuya vaRaphy talk show. Tiri pano kuti tikurukure pamusoro pe mental health. Ndo inini kwangu kwandoti kubasa kwangu because I have passion for mental health. So nasi tikuda kuti tidiscusse pamusoro pe ma-emotions. Ndichiri kungokontinua nemasegments atakanga tiri kumbotaura nezvavo previously. We did talk about the stop skill last time. Those who didn't have an opportunity to go and to listen to it, you can go back to my previous segments. Mono terera kuti kana tiri kutaura nezve misoro zano kana kuti stop skill yakaita zvekudini. So thanks so much. And also the other thing yatanotoda kuti tidiscusse nhasi ndiyoyo nyaya ye ma-emotions. So we know kuti ma-emotions, they talk to us. Ma-emotions, they speak or communicate to others. So they serve as a means of communication. And emotions can be experienced, negative emotions or positive emotions. So ndiri kunyanya kuconcentrate on my negative emotions because they have quite a huge impact on our relationships. They have a huge impact on who we are interacting with on a daily basis. So nasi ndoda kuti titaure zvakanyanya pamusoro pe anger. And why ndiri kuda kuti titaure pamusoro pe anger? It's because I have personally walked the journey. I do not come on the platform to talk about other people's experiences. Pane, yes, those who will come and they will share themselves. But in this segment, I also thought I would also share my own experience, my own journey, because I am still in the process of getting better. I'm not yet there. Vanobva vaziya shoko raMwari rotaura kuti Paul oti handisati ndachibata, asi tiri kutovavarira kuti tichibate. So I have also walked a journey where I have had very bad experience with anger issues myself. So tikuda kuti tibatsirane how I've also managed to get through my anger, and you can also get through your anger, and you can also help a friend. You can also help a family friend. You can help your child. You can help your husband. You can help a sister. So anger, these are a very negative emotion that is driven mostly by situations anenge aiteshwa throw right into our faces. Dzimwe nguva anger inogona kukonzerwa nema-assumptions, assuming things that are not there. You know, sometimes unogona kufila kuti pazvataurika panapa zvina kundiitira mushe, the way yandatreatwa nayo panapa ina kundiitira mushe, you know. So anger, kana tichitaura, it's a secondary emotion. Vamwe vangabvunze kuti tiri kurevei kuti secondary emotion. So it means anger does not just erupt from a vacuum. Kureva kuti anger inotouya because panenge paita a primary trigger. So ina handingomuki ndichingoti I'm just angry. It means pane something chaitika, saka ichinzi anger, it's a secondary emotion. And others might think it's less important because there are other primary emotions that we talk about therapy, that we help people to come to terms with those primary emotions. So when someone has anger or when someone gets angry, it means there has been a primary emotion to it. Tikada kuzviongorora zvakanyanya the way she erupted, the way mwana uyu kubesta kwaangoita into anger, I think, what is wrong with them? What is wrong with this person? Instead of looking and asking what is wrong with this person, I think it is important for us to figure out what's going on with this person rather than what is wrong with this person. Or what could have happened in order for this individual to asvike pakuta, gush out, kana kuti lash out ne anger yakadai so. Let's investigate the underlying cause of the anger. And most of the time, tikatsvaga kuti chii chakonzeresa tinochiwana. It's just that dzimweni dzenguva hatiwani mukana wekuti titsvage, asi tinotanga kujaja. Takutopa munhu zita kuti Mbuya vaRaphy vehasha vai mungavatanga kuti tete vaya ane hasha dzinenge dzatete vake, ane hasha dzinenge dzambuya wake. Takutotanga kuita naming, takutanga kuita label munhu nekuda kwema-emotions, but tisingatozivi kuti ma-emotions iwayo, it's an indication that someone is really needing help. Saka indataura kuti dzimweni dzenguva patinotarisa nyaya yeanger kuti tiri kuti i-secondary emotion, what could be the primary emotions atinokwanisa kuwana paanger, ari kusumudza kana kuti asumudza anger. Now ndiri kufunga kuti dzimweni dzenguva, from my experience ndichishanda kutherapy nevanhu vandosangana navo neniwo in my own life journey, the reason that I had anger issues was because there was a primary emotion, rejection. That's what brought my anger. That's what triggered my anger, is because my primary emotion was rejection. Vanoziya nyaya yangu ndinotaura about how I was rejected by my own father. Ndofunga ndanga ndisati ndatomboita kana 1 week ndazvarwa, baba vangu rejected me. Ndakarambwa nababa vangu, ndikakura ndisisina a father figure for a while. Vakazoita ma-reconciliations avo later, but my first years of my life, I did not have a father figure because vakandi rejecta. So I think ndo kwaibva anger yangu. And through therapy nekuzinoita ma-courses iwayaya nekustudy about, the psychology and mental health, zvakandibatsira kuti ndizvi understand better, and I started to be able to start to heal from within. Kuona kutotsvaga kuti okay, my underlying anger iri kukonzera izvi. And munoziva kuti tikatadza kutsvaga the underlying cause yema-anger issues, we will never heal ourselves, and we will not heal the community, we will not heal the church, and we will not heal the world. So tichida kutsvaga kuti healing start from within. So tikatarisa kuti unfair treatment, humiliation, feeling attacked could also cause munhu kuti afeel angry, right? Feeling trapped, feeling disrespected, zvese izvozvo zvinogona kukonzera kuti munhu atange kufeela quite angry, and hence we end up having that secondary emotion yeanger. Saka pane a primary cause inenge yatokonzeresa izvozvezvo. So ndo zvatoda kuti tinzwisise pamusoro peanger. So tikatarisa even in Bible tinotozviona kuti Cain wakasvika pakuuraya brother yake nekuda kweanger. So if we do not allow ourselves to further investigate and reflect, remember the other day pasegment yedu taitaura nenyaya yestop, take a step back, observe, and proceed mindfully. Kuti we are continuously reflecting kuti icho chakonzeresa kuti ndite best out papandiri kuita conversation ichi. And most of the time people get into these anger rages or these anger emotions to avoid feeling vulnerable. Because the chinzwai, inini I was avoiding to feel vulnerable. That feeling of rejection, when you accept it, it leaves you feeling very vulnerable. Saka, because I didn't want to feel vulnerable, all I did was bring out the anger out of me. So you find at the end of the day, instead of dealing with my rejection feeling, ndai produce kana kuti ndai projecta anger yangu towards other people. Tototsvaga kublame, it was all because my father didn't love me, my father was never there for me, I was raised by my mom, ndo vakatsvaga mari kuti ndiende kuchikoro and all that. So kwakutotsvaga kublame kuti it was all because of my father. I'm angry like this because my father was never there for me. So tune in, Tichi Kurukura. I'm also going to talk about how this anger manifests and how it looks like in our brain. Kuti tizvi-understanding kuti munhu when they have an anger outburst, chii chinenge chichiitika. Tune in after this short break. I'm going to talk about the brain or the hand model of the brain. Tichi explainer in layman language so that we can all get to understand kuti kana tichiti taita hasha dzinenge dzichimbobva papi, chii chinenge chichiitika mumusoro medu umu. Saka tibatsirane kuitira kuti tirege kufamba tichikuvadzana tichitaurana mashoko akaipa, asi kuti tikwanise kuti tihile from within when we accept kuti yes, I have anger issues. Then that's the start of your healing journey. So stay. So welcome back to the second segment of Mbuya vaRaphy talk show. We'll continue to move on. Nenyaya ye-anger ndoyatandiri kutaura nezvayo. I'm sharing just part of my experience, my journey, because I have also experienced quite a huge anger issues, and I'm on my journey to recovery as I speak. And my family can confess and witness kuti ndave munhu ari nani. So it is possible. You are able to take control over these emotions kana ukange wakunyatsoziva. So tisataenda kushort break, ndakatiri kutaura nyaya yekuti ini chakaita trigger anger yangu yanga iri nyaya yekuti the primary emotion was rejection from my father. So, and as I grew up, I wasn't accepting kuti I feel hurt. I felt hurt. I felt rejected. I felt, I just felt really upset about it. So instead yekuti ndikwanise kudila the feeling of rejection and hurt, yai project when I project out there as anger, anything small anyone did to me, I would burst out in anger. But it took a lot of time kuti ndikwanise kurealize kuti anger iyi ichii chiri kukonzera kuti ndidai so ndo zvandataura kuti kana uriko out there, you know kuti you've got anger issues. And do you know one thing I would like to share nevamwe pano ndechekuti we can never start to heal until we accept kuti tine issue, because we will continuously be blaming others. It's because of the breakup yemarriage yangu. It's because murume wangu haanyatsondinzwisisa. It's because vana vacho havanyatsondinzwisisa. Mama wangu na dad vangu can't really get me. They don't quite understand me. It's just the teacher. It's just, the places that we are living now. It's just that they don't get it. But you also need to stop and reflect on yourself and actually figure out kuti chii chiri kukonzera hasha dzangu. And do you know kuti ukamira ukachitsvaga, muchazodzoka kuinbox mako ndudza kuti Mbuya vaRaphy, you were right. Inini anger yangu iri kukonzerwa nekuti I was never loved. I was disappointed naningi. This happened to me. But because you don't want to face it and feel the pain, because when you accept the reality, I was rejected. When you accept it, acceptance is another skill yachataura nezvayo. When you accept something, it stops the suffering. It is painful, so that's why people avoid going through accepting reality, because to accept a reality kunorwadza. Sitting with that feeling of rejection is painful. So rather than sitting with that feeling of rejection iri painful, you would rather start lashing out at people because hausi kuda kufeel vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel vulnerable. There are people going around hurting other people. You know, there's nothing good that is coming out of their mouth. Because remember, the Bible also says, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So in it, I can never speak love. I can never smile out and give out and gush out love from within. Iyo isimo. So that's why we have to reflect and go to the bottom of our anger. Find out kana ari mwana mumba ari kuita lash out. Chii chakonzeresa kuti mwana adaro. Instead of punishing and labeling mwana, find out kuti chi. Kana baba chaivo kuti ona kuti vari kungokanda hasha. Uri kushaura kuti hasha dzacho dzabva nekupi. And we know that depression also inooneka nehasha. Anger can be a sign and symptom of depression. So there are men out there that have got huge anger issues, but isusu hatisi kuona the underlying cause. Tiri kungoona anger and we label them kuti baba vanongori nehasha havanzwisisiki. Ngatitsvagei kuti tivanzwisise, kana kuti ngativatsvagirei rubatsiro vakwanisewo kunzwisisa kuti hasha dzavo dziri kubva papi. So that after the segment ndandoda kutaura nyaya iyoyo yangu ndinongoti ndipedzise kuti inini for me ndanga ndisiri kuda kuta face the pain, but the moment I started to accept the reality, that's when my journey to healing started. And hence ndiri pano ndinokwanisa kutotaura ndobatsirawo mumwe. So tibatsirane. So nandochiti after before the break nandoti toda kutaura about what happens when we start to feel angry. Chii chinenge chichiitika mupfungwa dzedu, right? So ene ndoda kuti tizvinzwisise kuti anger, right, it is a natural, it's a natural part of life experience. Hakuna ngati inini I don't get angry. It's how we manage it that it makes the difference. Munhu wese anotoita hasha, but vamwe they manage it so well. Vamwewo ndo vari kuma extreme vanotopwanya zvinhu nekutobaya vamwe nemapanga kana kutodini because of anger. So anger is a natural part of human experience. Learning how to experience it in a healthy way is an important part of our emotional life. So that's how we can differentiate it. Kuti iriko anger, tingamboti apana munhu amuti inini handitsamwe, tinotsamwa tese. We are all on the continuum, we are all on the line, but zvakudependa kuti how are we managing our anger is what also makes a huge difference, right? Saka ndoda kuti titaure pamusoro pe the brain and anger. Saka ndoda kuti titore this fist. This is representing the brain. And ndati ndoda kutrya kuexplaina this in very lay term language yatinonzwisisa. Ndoda kutrya kuti ndisashandise mavhoko. Ndoda kushandisa a layman language yekuti tese tinonzwisisa kuti chii chiri kuitika mubrain. Because we have people, when people come and they start doing my slides and they start throwing in neuroscience, neurotransmitters, zvikabva zvazodini, dopamine level, serotonin level, hatichatozvinzwisise ndotobva tatoti zvakubhowa. Saka nhasi mbuya vaRaphy vada kumbotaura sambuya vatry kuzvipatsanura in the best way I can. Saka ndoda kuti tinzwisise kuti ndoda kuti titore this hand as the hand model of this hand model tichishandisa as a brain. So this is how our brain looks like, right? That's what it is. That's what it looks like. So in other words, torai this as the brain, right? So this is the stem, right? And the stem ndo yatinoshandisa kana kuti ndiyo inoconnecta, inosenda masignals kubva kubody uku, right? Ichienda kupi? Kubrain. This spinal thing, this brain stem here, right? Ndo zvakaita. So patinoona zvinovhundutsa kana kudini, this sends a signal, right? Where? To the brain and also to the body. So, supposedly, right, tawona, kwauya something. This is the environment we are in. And we are interacting back and forth nevanu, trikuita zvatunoita upenyu hwedu. And then we see something. And so what that does is, taona something that is scary, that is threatening, that I feel I'm being disrespected or whatever it is. Tikange tazviona, this manje, right, it sends signal to the brain. Kuti there is danger here. Things are not going okay here. And so the brain starts to react, or the brain receives the signal, right? And at the same time, the body also does its own. And saka ma messages ascendwa from this. So this is what the brain does. And this part of the brain, that's what it does. It sends my signals to the brain, and from the brain to the body, from the body to the brain. Do basa racho it. Right. So I'll come back after the second segment to zopedzisa kuti what happens kana message yapinda mu brain om. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to the third and final segment yatiri kutaura nenyaya yeanger and how we can manage our anger and what causes anger. So ndanga ndiri kutaura nenyaya ye the hand model ish. So ndanga ndiri kubva kutaura stem. Saka ndabva pa stem ndoda kutaura nenyaya yechi iyi inonzi the frontal, kana ndoya tuti think tank redu, ndo panoitika ma executive function decisions ese tinokwanisa kunyatsofunga zvakanaka. Vamwe vanoiti the upstairs brain, kana tichitaura nevana vadiki kubasa tinoiti the upstairs brain ish. Saka inotibatsira kufunga, inotibatsira it's ready to learn. It's the wise mind. Kune vaye vabva zera takuti the wise mind ndo mune the crystallized intelligence irimo imomomo, ndo mazvinoitika imomo, right? My executive functions ese anoitika imomo. Anditika imomomo ndo munokwanisa futi munoitika nyaya yekuti kana tafesa something, kana ma signals auya, are we going to respond or are we going to react? This part of the brain here helps us to do that. And so it's kind of a rational brain. And it's the thinking part here. And inotipa rational. So it's called the cortex. The scientific name for it. And but isusu kana tichitaura in layman language tichidzidzisa tinoriti it's a think tank. Right? Ndo zvariri. Kana kuti it's the wise brain. Kana kuti it's the wise owl. Right? No, that's what we can call it. Okay. Saka upstairs brain yedu iyoyi inoto influence how we respond or react kune ma signals iwayaya atinenge tapuwa kubva apa. Anditika. Then tinoya tinoti flip the lid. Saka tika flipa kudai so inside here tine ichichi. This, right, in layman language toda kungoipa zita. Kazhinji kana ndiri mu session nevana, you can call it, because tinoshanda nevana vanosiyana siyana, vamwe vane mapets avo, so you can call it, whatever you want to name it, right? Or it can be you here. Antitika. So vamwe they might call it my puppy, right? Iyoyi. So this, but in the scientific term, inonziyo amygdala, right? Amygdala, right? It's a bit difficult to me, but iyoyi inoshanda basa rekuti imomumu ndo matinoti mu red zone. Imomumu, this part of the brain ish. Iyoyi ndo yatinoti ine this thing here. It helps rather keep us safe. Anditika. So my signals paanouya uku, this thing is gonna respond. Ikangosensa kuti there's danger. So if this was an animal, right, if it was a dog, for example, anditika, it would start to bark. Bark, 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 bark. Saka ndiwe wafaced manje ne a threat. Wakutanga kutaura you are so emotional now. So that's where you start now to talk. My emotions ese waya because lead la flip anditika. My emotions ese aripap anditika. Wakutanga manje you are pouring out because pane munhu aripo, pane threat, pane ma signals asendwa kwauri apa. Then this frontal lobe, because this thing is, when it starts to bark anditika, usually it causes this to flip. Saka ukangona apa pa flip apa ndopa wakutopinda mumaenga wato muenga mode yako. This frontal lobe is no longer functional. So what it does is, once you feel the threat, you find what, depending on who or your personality, ukaona kuti paita munhu ari kunda attack anditika paita a threat, right? So what happens is, kune vanoita inosenda signal yosendwa kubrain. Kana yasendwa kubrain uku, so what then happens is, this thing is now either going to, you either freeze. Kune vanobva vangoti zi andakunyarara zvangu, they are so scared they just freeze. Others they fight, others they flight. Crowd vanototiza. So sometimes what happens, depending on what's going on, this flips. The moment it flips, you are left vulnerable. This is now in control. Ndo panenge pakufamba my emotions. The thinking brain aisisipo yatoflipa kudhara pasisina. Ndopa wakungorova mtendende ndo mashoko. Wakungotaura mavhu nemarara. Because this is your emotional brain now. Irikungo fire. Irikungo fire because you are just feeling attacked. You are just feeling the threat. You are just feeling unvalidated. You are feeling disrespected. You are feeling hurt. You are feeling rejected. You are feeling frustrated. You are feeling nobody loves you. So you are just firing. You are just firing and firing and firing. Right? So as you are firing, apasisina quite thinking. So if it was a dog, it would just be barking, whoa, 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 until the threat yaenda. Right? Ndopa unonana akunyarara. This thing is now coming back. Right? The signals are being sent to the brain. Kuti threat yanga iripo, it's now going away. And you find kuti wakutoka back to yourself. You are now being, the thinking brain, the wise brain is coming back and calming your emotions down. Right? Yakutaurot, okay, the threat is over. The threat is over. So isusu patinenge tiri kuita nyaya iyi, patinenge tiri kuona zvakadai zviri kuitika in our real life. So patinoona patiri kuda kuavoida ndepekuti this amygdala iyi tiri kuda kutraya kuona kuti tingaicontrole sei, tisasvike pakuti the executive brain yedu iyi, the think tank yedu iflipwe. Because ikagara yakaflipwa kudai, so tinogara chete tiri head dog, tinogara tichingopopotedzana chete nevanhu, tinogara tiri angry all the time. Right? So we need to find a way of making sure that the lead is on all the time. Saka ndosaka in the previous segment taitaura nenyaya yekuti ukaona padaro, ukaona waona threat iyi yakuuya paflipwa, wasiwa wave exposed, iwewe move away. Move away completely from that threat. Izvozvo zvinobatsira kuti the wise mind idzoke. Right? Utange kufunga zviri nani. So ndo zvinoitika izvozvo. So you find kuti this thing here can be quite inogona kurasa muswe. Ndo pese ndo panoitika nyaya dzesapa. Chikasara chave exposed because haikwanisi kuita. It's just an emotional mind. Zvese zvainoita, it's very emotional. But inotobatsirwa kufunctiona with this yakadai. right? Saka, I hope we have quite understood, the hand model of how we get angry and what happens in our brain patinoita anger, patino presenter with anger issues. So you find kuti this, you call it this little pet of yours, and this little pet of yours, you need to learn to tame it. Ndosaka tichitaura nyaya yema-skills, we learn them so that when we are faced with these threatening situations, when we have learned skills, we will know how to deal with it, and we know how to keep it under control. So I hope this has been quite helpful on how we learn to tame the little animal in here so that it doesn't call. And this is probably the child in us. Iyo bring out the child in us. Saka inoda kuti itemwe kuti igare yakafidigirwa, iri in control with the wise mind. But we can do that through continuously reflecting and learning to name our emotions and accepting kuti paita danger pano, let me move away. Paita danger panapa, I'm not going to be angry, but I'm going to further investigate kuti chakonzeresa kuti ndiite hasha chii ndiende kunodila nacho is the primary cause of it all. I hope this has been helpful. Kune vari kuda more information, remember munokwanisa kuita inbox me and we can go through this on one-to-one. I hope ndabatsira umwe munhu out there, but anger is a natural part of human experience, but it is how we manage it that makes us better people. So tibatsirane kunze uko, tizive kuti kana munhu achipresenta neanger, there is an underlying cause. Vamwe we have been abused. We have been abused emotionally, physically, sexually. We've been exposed to kuma situations akatisiya tiri vulnerable. We've been bullied kumabasa. We've been, labeled, So we have gone through a lot in our lives. And others have never been loved. So they have got so much anger in them. Saka tizobatsirana tikaona munhu ari kuproduce anger, tizive kuti there is an underlying primary emotion yatinofanira kutotsvaga, because tikabhandeja zviri pamusoro munhu apori, ronda rinoramba richidhubhuka urwa. Saka tinoda kutonotsvaga kuona kuti urwa huri kubuda papi, blood riri kubuda papi. Kana achida antibiotic, topa munhu antibiotic. Tirege kungobhandija maronda ndatinoora, tinonida kuti titsvage the right antibiotic for the infection that we've got. Kana tapuwa a good antibiotic, munoona ronda rinotanga kuoma kubva mukati richibuda kunze, and we produce better images of ourselves. Tobatsirana. May the dear Lord bless you all. Tirambe tichishingirira kuvavarira to be better people. And like I've always said, mental illness is real. We do not snap out of it, but tinotoda kuti titsvake rubatsiro kuti tikwanise kuti tihile. May God bless you. Tosangana pa next section.